I'm recording this on April 23rd. Hello, my name is Ian Van Riper.
And my name is Mackenzie Bucky, and we would like to thank you for providing us with your time and attention today. We are here to represent Airport High School and Michigan Deca, as well as present our Business Solutions campaign made for Eureka Eatery with the help of Airport Deca. Take it away, Ian.
When Kenny Chirac began selling his homemade cuisine in 2015, he intended for it to be nothing more than a side business to drive traffic to his humble gas station located in Monroe, Michigan. However, this mere side hustle quickly grew into something much more than that with the help of its popular marketing team and diverse array of menu items. Eureka Eatery is a fast casual restaurant which specializes in its chicken sandwiches, chicken tenders, and mac and cheese fried bowls. It is about 40 minutes south of Detroit and is experiencing an explosion of sales and popularity. Due to this explosion of sales and popularity, is looking into opening a new location in Woodhaven, Michigan, about 20 minutes north of its current one and 20 minutes south of Detroit.
So the idea for this project all began in October of 2020. I was actually part of leadership staff at the restaurant when my boss approached me looking for some help with solving some problems at the business. I consulted with my fellow DECA members who were all eager to help, and we started developing a solutions campaign for the best chicken restaurant in town. And just to give you some further insight into this business, we're just going to show you a short Facebook ad right now. So that menu item was actually developed by Airport Deca members, but we'll get to that later. Before actually starting this plan, we first conducted a wide variety of research, and the first of this was a questionnaire that we distributed to all of our chapter members. This just asked general questions such as how often they went to the business and any ideas for improvement they had. This helped us get a good overall perspective of what people were thinking about the business. We also conducted some customer and staff interviews, analyzed key metrics such as ticket times, daily food waste, and average customer reviews, just to get some quantitative data that we could use to compare at the beginning and the end of the project. Using this information, we created a SWOT analysis, which, as you can see, it analyzes the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And we found that the biggest strength of the business was its marketing team partnership with Chowdown Detroit. And Chowdown Detroit has been working with Eureka Eatery for the past 2 years. It's made advertisements for its Instagram and its Facebook page, such as the one that you just saw. And it's really helped draw in customers just through digital means.
So the primary weaknesses facing the restaurant were its lack of space at its current location, its slow service, and lack of a value menu. So some of the frequent customer complaints were the lack of space, the high ticket times, and the expensive menu items. So in order to solve these, we looked to open a new location, improve the service by improving employee training and including lower price menu items.
The biggest opportunity for the business, as Ian mentioned previously, is the development of its second location in Woodhaven, Michigan. So obviously you don't know the area, but we can tell you that Woodhaven is a very popular spot. It has a ton of businesses. It gets a lot of traffic, especially when people are going home from work. So we believe that this is the best place for it to have its first full service location.
So Eureka Eatery has a couple of threats, with the main one being its outside competitors. Chick-fil-A is expanding aggressively within the region, occupies a similar niche to Eureka Eatery. Additionally, Northside Bar and Grill has released a menu item which is very similar to Eureka Eatery's flagship chicken sandwich. This menu item can beat in both price and quality. How Eureka Eatery adapts to these threats will indicate the business's success in the future.
Indeed, Ian. So the project scope for this business was developed or divided into 3 different sections. First, we had our purpose, which was quite obvious. It was to draft, develop, and implement business solutions. Our rationale for this was, since we lacked the time and resources necessary to change the business physically, we'd instead change its day-to-day operations as a chapter. The benefits that we sought to reach were to improve patron satisfaction, employee productivity, and overall customer turnover. So then we developed some problems and 4 goals that we would address. And Ian, you can talk about those.
So some of the problems facing the business, like I mentioned, were its lack of space, its high ticket times, and just general disorganization. We created a couple of procedures that would help alleviate some of these concerns, and our main goal is to decrease the ticket times, as I said, and increase the organization. So we sought to improve the leadership team by creating a set of tasks and improving the headsets so their communication could flow easier and they could solve more issues in a more timely manner. We also wish to create affordable menu options and to alleviate the lack of space. The main reason why this was such an issue is that due to COVID-19 procedures, we can only have a limited amount of customers within the restaurant at one time.
So in order to solve these problems, we needed a team to do so. So our human resource management plan was divided into two different sections. Me and Eien served as the project leads. We made sure that these two groups are coordinated and that everything was running smoothly, which as a whole it did. On one hand, we had the Eureka Eatery leadership team, which was comprised of about 15 members, and they just did the day-to-day operations at the business. They actually worked there, and they'd see if there's any issues within the business, and they'd report it to the Airport Deca chapter, which was the other side of this plan. Our chapter is about 50 members strong, and we would assess these problems and find any possible solutions and relay the best ones back to the leadership team that would actually implement it in the business.
So our project schedule had a huge role in making sure everything ran smoothly and efficiently. Including in our project schedule were reorganization of the kitchen, the procedural implementations, and most importantly, the Thursday leadership meetings attended by Airport Deca's very own Mac Bucky.
Yes, so I actually did have an insider's perspective, and I can say confidently that overall our team was able to reach all 4 of our planned milestones. First, we were able to streamline kitchen operations by introducing an employee station rotation. We also improved safety procedures, which were especially important during this time. We put some hand washing signs all throughout the facility, and we put some social distancing stickers throughout the gas station. And finally, we made a closing checklist to accomplish this goal. Next, the management at Eureka Eatery assisted us with lowering ticket times by acquiring a printer, and that's essentially just a robot that prints out an actual sticker that tells us what the order is, and this helps expedite the orders much quicker. We also reorganized the kitchen layout, and as a result, our ticket times decreased by 1:30 at the conclusion of our tenure.
Our goal to improve the leadership at Eureka Eatery was especially important, as leadership teams form the nucleus of operations at any restaurant or small business. We developed this by using training packets and the new communications headsets to make sure everything ran smoothly and efficiently. And lastly, our ambition to release a lower price menu item was partially realized with the suggestion of Eureka Tacos by Airport Deca chapter members. The Eureka Tacos were the monthly special in November and have been so popular that they're brought back in the month of April. They're priced about $2 to $3 each, and their success is like Kenny Rock into looking into developing more value-priced menu items.
So, as we mentioned previously, the collaboration between Eureka Eatery and Airport Deca was integral to the success of this campaign. Some of the contributors to success that our chapter members had were some previous work experience at restaurants. As I said multiple times, I actually worked at Eureka Eatery. Eien worked at Panera Bread before, so we all had that experience as actual workers. All of us actually offered some customer perspective, which was also very important. Some of our members are part of family businesses, such as small farms, and especially during these times, which have crippled several businesses within our area, it's been especially important to our Deca chapter to help small businesses in our community. Lastly, we have some previous chapter campaign experience. I've actually been in Deca for 4 years myself, and even though it's only Ian's first year, he's done a great job so far, and we've got plenty of help from our other chapter members and officers.
Our project's budget was estimated to be around $38,000, the most expensive of these new acquisitions being the fryers, the headsets, the labeling machine, and the new uniforms for staff members. Additionally, we had a couple of small short-term issues which occurred during the course of this project. These included bad weather, flooding, but most importantly, we had to deal with quarantines. Quarantining was incredibly draining on both Eureka Eatery and Airport Deca chapter members. Members would be out for 10 to 14 days, which would really take a hit on our morale and our production. Unfortunately, much like the weather here in Michigan, this is simply out of our control, and we could only do our best to adapt to the situation as it came to us.
Yes, as Ian mentioned, quarantine was a big problem throughout this project. We had several members that had to go home throughout it. And luckily, as project leads, we were both able to stay within our school during this time. However, as you can tell, we're both at home. We're actually quarantined right now. So our three main issues that we could address was when we purchased some new the business purchased some new pressure cook fryers. They had heavy baskets that were hard to lift out of the oil, and they had some metal handles that when employees would lift it, it would actually cut their palms. So we got together as a chapter and discussed some possible solutions, and we determined that the business would buy some rubber handles for the fryers, and that they'd also train employees one-on-one with the general manager. Secondly, when the Mediterranean items were taken off the menu, customers were pretty upset because they're not made well aware about this change. So our chapter created an advertisement with the permission of Kenny that we would make a January monthly special to provide the patrons the closure and the chicken shawarma they desperately needed. Lastly, we noticed that closing procedures at the restaurant were quite lengthy. As I said, Eien used to work at Panera Bread, and he can attest that it was just simply ridiculous how long employees were staying at the restaurant. So we put our brains together and we created a closing checklist that provided each employee a job to complete throughout the night. And this helped improve productivity and overall morale among the team because employees were going home 2 hours before they had previously.
So our key metrics data were a couple of important pieces of statistical information which would really indicate to us that our project had been a success. Including in our key metrics data were our ticket times, our food waste, and customer satisfaction. Here's how we measured all of these. Our ticket times were obviously the ticket times at the end of the night from the beginning to the end of the project. Our food waste was measured in chicken, which actually had decreased in half. Lastly, our customer satisfaction was measured in the form of Yelp reviews. We're happy to report that our ticket times and our food waste decreased drastically, all the while our customer satisfaction had actually went up. This indicates to us our project had some impact on the business and was at the very least pretty successful.
So as Eien said, our key metrics gave us overall proof that we had improved the productivity, efficiency, creativity, and affordability of the restaurant. So although we lacked the time and resources necessary to make large business decisions, we were able to impact the business immensely just through changing its infrastructure. In the future, we'd allow ourselves some more time to work on our campaign and also further narrow down our project scope. And by this, I mean instead of focusing on 4 different solutions or goals like we did during this project, we'd instead focus on 1 or 2 just to make sure the quality is there and that we can focus all our time and resources into 2 instead of 4 different solutions. Our future recommendations are to improve employee training at this new location, update the restaurant's online ordering system and website, and lastly, advertise its catering service.
Airport Deca's involvement with Eureka Eatery has been a symbiotic relationship which is mutually beneficial for both the restaurant and our chapter. Airport Deca's chapter members really benefited from the experience by learning the intricacies of operating and running a small business, while Eureka Eatery benefited by having a dedicated focus group, which could really help them solve and look for the issues found within their business. Lastly, with a dedicated group of staff, loyal customers, and some clucking good chicken, Eureka Eatery is poised themselves to become one of the fastest growing restaurants within Southeast Michigan.
So once again, thank you for your time and attention today, and goodbye from us in the Mitten State.